A magicless knight is shamefully relieved of his duties from the Demon King's army, but has no idea of the power he truly holds. Dariel is summoned by his adopted brother, Bashbarza, who recently ascended the throne since their father retired. Bashbarza decides that Dariel is a liability to them because he can't use magic. Dariel accepts his fate and shamefully leaves. A few days later, he's still aimlessly exploring the forests with an empty stomach when he comes across a human girl named Marika. She's being chased by a giant silver gorilla. Even with his lack of magic, he stands his ground and manages to kill the beast. To express gratitude, she takes him to her home in Lux Village and offers him a nice meal. Marika's family asks about his origin, but he pretends not to be a demon and vaguely says he lost his job. They offer him accommodation in their home, but he's reluctant to accept the offer because they might find out he's a demon who just can't use magic. Eventually, he accepts, and the next day, Enbil, Marika's father, offers him a job as an adventurer. The registration process is one only humans can pass, so he's extremely shocked when he passes it, implying that he's human. Dariel scales through all of his tests, and Enbil, who is a guildmaster, is amazed because he has never seen anyone who possesses and manifests an affinity for the 4 auras, which are Slash, Sting, Hit, and Block. Enbil even suggests that he join the Center Guild, which all adventurers strive to enter. However, Dariel decides to stay and serve their village, causing Marika, who has gotten fond of him, to embrace him in delight. Later, Enbil, who is also the village chief, introduces Dariel to the rest of the village as the new adventurer. Dariel is appointed as the new adventurer, but Gashita mocks him, saying that he's too old for the job. Enbil reveals that Gashita was the only adventurer in the village, and so he's quite arrogant. Soon, Dariel is given his first mission, but Enbil is shocked when he finds out that the target is the same beast that Dariel killed when he saved Marika. As a result, Dariel's next quest is herb picking. Marika follows him to teach him about the herbs. One day, they encounter another monster, and once again, Dariel kills it. It turns out that the second beast was also Gashita's target, and this makes him upset that Dariel is stealing his thunder. A few days later, a high-level giant snake is reported just outside the village, but Enbil tells them higher-ranked adventurers will take care of it. However, he tells Dariel to keep tabs on Gashita, because he would attempt to kill the beast to prove he's better. Sure enough, when Dariel enters the forest, he finds the snake chasing Gashita. In an awesome display of his auras, he manages to kill the beast and save Gashita. This feat causes Gashita to have a change of heart, and he begins to treat Dariel with respect. Back in the Demon King's castle, they're starting to regret letting Dariel go because they haven't gotten a replacement even slightly as competent as he was. However, Bashbarza refuses to admit his mistake. In Lux Village, Dariel is excelling even more, and Marika's feelings are becoming more evident. One day, Enbil expresses his fear to Dariel. He reveals that since the precious mithril mines were captured by the demons, human trade has drastically suffered. As a result, Dariel visits his old home and is shocked to find the mining creatures called knockers are being overworked. He was once their supervisor, so he feels for them. Not long after, the new commander arrives, demanding more mithril and threatening them. A fight ensues when some of the knockers rebel against him. Dariel steps in when he sees that the creatures will be killed, and after another powerful display, he humiliates the commander. Dariel claims the mines for the humans, and in a short while, human trade starts to flourish again. Not long after, the Demon Lord finds that the demons lost control of the mines. He summons Bashbarza, the Fire King, and reprimands him immensely, pointing out that things were better with Dariel around. This makes Bashbarza despise his adopted brother even more. In Lux Village, adventurers from Campbell City, led by Fitbitten, have been appointed by the Center Guild to supervise the mines. Enbil throws a feast to celebrate the village's success, and Marika surprisingly suggests she's marrying Dariel. Enbil gives his blessings, even though Dariel tries to deflect them. The next day, a representative from the Center Guild asks Dariel to help him get the knockers to work with them, because they only answer to him. A while later, soldiers from the Demon King, led by a mage, try to cajole the knockers to come back. Darian interrupts them and finds out that the mage named Rizit is his old friend. He reveals the terrible state of things back home ever since his departure, and even tries to force him back. However, Dariel stands his ground and offers a deal instead. He offers to sell Mithril to the Demon King at a higher price, and Rizit accepts the terms to avoid unnecessary bloodshed. Fitbitten controls the foundry where the Mithril is stored and tries to exclude Dariel from his activities. Later, an old man visits the village, and Dariel confronts him for making trouble. The man mocks his weak sword, but after realizing Dariel's auras, he introduces himself as Smith, a Mithril smith. Later, Smith expresses his desire to forge weapons with Mithril and sets up a shop in the village. They manage to persuade Fitbitten to allow them into the foundry where Smith forges a large sword. Dariel wields it and demonstrates its power under Smith's supervision. A while later, Fitbitten challenges Dariel to a duel for control over the mines and foundry. He accepts, and Smith forges a one-of-a-kind weapon that fits with any of his different auras. At the town square, the two adventurers face each other. Fitbitten mocks the weapon initially, unaware of its true capacity. As the two battle it out, Dariel displays how the weapon harnesses the power of his aura and utterly humiliates Fitbitten. After this feat, the Center Guild invites him to join them, seeing that he defeated an adventurer 2 ranks higher than him. Dariel goes into the sauna to think about the offer, but Marika joins him shortly. She suggests that he take the offer, but to her surprise, he states that he's turning it down to stay with them in the village. He then confesses his love to her, and the two engage in some passionate activities. Elsewhere, Bashbarza visits his grandfather, Granbaza, who was once the strongest demon king and has been in rehabilitation since he was defeated by the hero. Granbaza is aware of everything that happened and asks him about Dariel, but Bashbarza lies, and this upsets the old man, causing him to pummel his son. He asks him to get Dariel back and apologize for his transgressions, but he rejects the idea, declaring he will be fine without Dariel. He then leaves. Back in Luck's village, Enbil talks about retiring and asks Dariel to succeed him. Dariel accepts, but on the condition that he will marry Marika. Marika is overjoyed and tells Dariel that they're expecting a baby, so they get married and Dariel becomes the new village chief. 1 year later, Dariel visits Smith's grave to pay his respects. The village is still prospering, and he now has a son named Gran with Marika. Suddenly, they receive news that the hero, the killer of the demons, is approaching their village. Dariel fears that the hero would recognize him, but he's shocked to see a different person, a young lady named Lady. She's come to forge a mithril armor to take down the Demon Kings. The village adequately welcomes the hero's party, consisting of Lady, Satome, and Sesha. Soon, Lady reveals that her second reason for coming is to recruit a 4th member for the party. A contest is held in the village square to find the new member. Lady is quite disappointed when she doesn't find someone, but just then, Gashita attacks with his mithril weapon. She counters, and just when she's about to unleash a devastating blow, Dariel interferes. She challenges him to a duel, but he rejects it. However, she attacks with the same strike the former hero used on the demons, and he neutralizes the move. Lady immediately picks him, but he turns down the offer. So she stalks him throughout the following day and discovers how much the villagers love him, and why he can't leave them or his family. Later that night, Lady calls Dariel for a chat, and he reveals that he has family on both sides, and convinces her that the demons will only attack in self-defense. After hearing this, she concludes that he has a stronger heart, and asks him to be her teacher. Meanwhile, the demon generals who have been searching for Dariel finally find him when Rizit secretly visits him. Ziviantes, one of the 4 demon kings, confronts Dariel and scolds Rizit for hiding the truth. Marika returns home and presumes that Zeviantes is a friendly guest, but when she hears her insult Dariel, her expression changes, and she intimidates the Wind King. They take their conversation outside, and Zeviantes attacks Dariel, but he easily subdues her. As a result, she reveals that she needs mithril and a weapon too, so he takes her to Smith's successor, Sakai, to forge a weapon for her. Dariel suddenly remembers that the hero's party seeing a Demon King won't end well, so he tries his best to avoid them seeing each other. Unfortunately, Lady and Zeviantes inevitably meet and clash. Dariel calms them down, but the bad blood is too much. A duel between the two takes place, and they're both evenly matched. Along the line, Graham is exposed to danger, and they both work together to save him. After the experience, the two decide to resolve their differences, and Dariel is pleased to see humans and demons coexisting. One day, an old man comes into the village, and Dariel is shocked when he finds out it's the former hero, Alansil, who came looking for Lady. Dariel fears for Xeviantes, so he tells her to leave for a while and not use any magic because Alansil can sense it. Everyone else in the village is excited that the legend came around. Later, Alansil reveals that his wounds have healed, and Lady informs him that Dariel has been teaching her. Surprised, he asks Dariel to spar with him, and the villagers cheer their chief on. Dariel senses Alansil's aura and is terrified by it. He also remembers what Lady said about his family being killed by demons. Suddenly, Alansil senses Xeviante's magic and attacks her, but Dariel stops him. This leads to an epic battle between the two, but Dariel loses in the end. However, Dariel empathizes with Alansil about his family and reveals that he was raised by demons. Meanwhile, in the Demon Lord's castle, Granbarza asks that Bashbarza be fired, but the Demon Lord reveals that his adopted son may still not return. In Luck's village, Dariel asks about Alansil's wife and son that were killed by a demon. He recalls only seeing his wife's corpse. After seeing how similar their auras are, he asks Dariel his age and confirms that he's the son he thought was dead as he embraces him. But just then, Granbarza arrives and joins them. Dariel remains in shock as his two fathers stand before him. The two old-timers prepare to fight each other, but Dariel stops them. Granbarza then has a heartwarming moment with his adopted son, while Alansil is bitter, knowing that he will never get the lost years with his son back. Seeing this, Granbarza reveals that he is prepared to atone for the death of his wife and the years lost. The two old men prepare for the final duel, but Marika stops them and shows them their grandson Gran. The little guy ends yet another fight between a human and a demon. Later on, they all have dinner together. The two grandfathers spend time with the boy. Alansil is happy he has the chance to be a grandfather even though he couldn't be a father. Meanwhile, Bashbarza finds out that he's about to be dismissed, and his hatred for Dariel continues to grow as everyone compares his adopted brother to him. Back in Luck's village, Dariel and the rest are informed that a dragon has attacked the mines. Dariel and Alansil head into the mines to save the Knockers, while the hero party, Xeviantes and Granbarza, take on the giant dragon in a team-up no one would ever have expected. However, the flaming beast is too strong for them. Granbarza tries to use his fire magic, but it's futile. Dariel and Alansil reach the mines, but can't free the Knockers because of the rubble, so they return to face the dragon. Dariel is face to face with the beast, but instead of fighting, it calms down, and he senses something familiar about it before it flies away. Immediately, Granbarza and Xeviantes head back to the Demon King's castle, and just as he suspected, Bashbarza had opened the Room of Secrets to create the beast and enhance his powers incredibly. Granbarza warns him that the hexes from the room would destroy his body and mind, but he's too consumed by hate to listen. Bashbarza gets on the back of the beast and heads for Luck's village to kill the past and present heroes to prove he is the strongest. Inside the mines, the magical earth beasts meet Dariel and warns him of the imminent doom. It then enhances his mithril weapon and disappears. A while later, Dariel prepares his team for battle and helps the villagers evacuate. Not long after, an overpowered Bashbarza arrives on the dragon's back. Dariel tries to sort things out with words, thinking it's about the mines, but his brother explains that he just hates him. He vows to kill Marika, and that's when Dariel gets serious. Bashbarza orders the dragon to wipe out everything in the village with fire, but the team manages to bring it down. This leaves the two brothers to face each other alone. Bashbarza uses the power of the hex to transform into a beast before attacking Dariel with a devastating spell. Meanwhile, the two old men unleash their full power, along with support from the rest of them, to defeat the powerful dragon. Dariel harnesses the power from his upgraded weapon to counter, causing a large explosion, but Bashbarza just transforms more into a beast. He finally pins Dariel down, causing him to see Bashbarza's painful memories. He sees how Bashbarza lived in his shadow ever since he was adopted, and apologizes for it, and reveals his struggles, causing Bashbarza to see Dariel's memories as well. After that moment, Dariel offers him a hand of peace, but just when he's about to take it, the hex gets broken and takes over his body to revive the dragon. He decides to atone for his sins by sacrificing himself to save everyone, but Granbarza also uses a hex to free him, while Dariel delivers the finishing blow to sever the connection between Bashbarza and the dragon, destroying the hex. Sometime later, the Demon Lord summons Bashbarza, planning to send him to hell, but after his remorseful display, he just kicks him out of the army. Bashbarza and Granbarza head to Luck's village, where a feast is thrown to celebrate. Bashbarza offers a public apology and makes peace with his brother. The next day, before going hunting, Dariel holds with his wife and son, hopeful for a wonderful life ahead. With that, today's recap comes to an end. See you in the next one.